Hello, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out from Ukraine, and we're going to be talking about their energy infrastructure. It looks like they got hit again late last night. A massive wave of drone and missile attacks came in. We had something like 53 missiles. These are cruise missiles and ballistic missiles fired from Russia, and also somewhere around 47 attack drones. So altogether, about 100 pieces of equipment fired onto Ukraine's energy grid once again. Okay, so we've got 5 regions that were hit, and I know Lviv is one of them on the western side of Ukraine that got hit pretty hard as well. We're also going to be showing you some information here from Volodymyr Zelensky in just a little bit. He's going to give us an update on the situation, what's going on. And we'll talk a little bit about DTEK Group as well. DTEK Group is a major energy company in Ukraine who gives a lot of updates on these attacks. And they're stating here that 2 civilian infrastructure, like energy grid power plants, got hit pretty hard, seriously damaged. And we know that they've reported this before, that Ukraine is like has like 90% of their energy grid completely destroyed. Okay, so they already don't have much energy supply as it is, and once we get into the winter time, the Ukrainians are going to be really heavily struggling here because the power grid is going to be stressed so hard by winter time, and unfortunately, what we may see here is a major catastrophe in Ukraine if the people there don't even have energy. So right now it's not so much of a problem because it's relatively warm. But once we get into the colder months, December, January, February of next year, Ukrainians are going to be struggling heavily here. Okay, so I've got some information to go over with you. We're going to talk about this article here first, then we'll go over some X posts. So this is on Politico. Russia hits Ukraine energy infrastructure in large-scale missile and drone attack. Attack damaged energy infrastructure in 5 regions, according to Ukraine's national grid operator. So here's like a photo of one of their thermal power plants or energy infrastructure that's been hit. Okay, so this is an example right here. And it says here, Russia launched a large-scale missile and drone attack, the most extensive in more than 3 weeks, against Ukraine overnight, damaging the country's power system, Ukraine officials said it on Saturday. The strike damaged equipment at facilities in 5 regions across Ukraine, according to the national grid operator Ukrenergo. So 5 regions were hit, guys. Ukraine's Air Force reported that its air defenses shot down 35 of 53 missiles and 46 of 47 attack drones launched by Moscow in the overnight attack. So it looks like they were able to take down a good majority of these, but these missiles are the ones that end up striking these facilities, and we'll be able to see that damage here in a little bit from Volodymyr Zelensky. He's going to show us a video of a thermal power plant getting hit. Russian terrorists do not abandon their intentions to destroy the fuel and energy sector of the state, said the Air Force on its Telegram channel. The Air Force and Defense Forces of Ukraine are doing everything possible to prevent the enemy from achieving its goals on every part of the front. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack in a post on X, saying that emergency workers were on the ground to assess the situation and provide relief. He also slammed Western allies for their indecision in providing military aid to his country, urging them to ramp up support so that Russian President Vladimir Putin would lose the ability to target civilian infrastructure and would ultimately be forced to stop his terror. This is a test of humanity and determination for the free world, Zelensky wrote in his post. Either we pass it together or the world will suffer further destabilization and chaos. Russia's attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure have intensified since March, inflicting more permanent damage to the system, which could have knock-on effects on the EU's power supply. So that's a big problem too, because there's a lot of major thermal power plants, nuclear power plants in Ukraine, like the Zaporizhzhia one, and that's a major energy provider for a lot of Eastern Europe. So their energy infrastructure, like I said, is just completely destroyed, and it's probably much worse than what we're even being told. So we know that that Ukraine is struggling for energy right now, and it's very sad for them because they've just been coming under attack like crazy from the Russians, and this war continues to pick up and become more deadly and more destructive. And at some point, this has got to do some major damage to Ukraine. And how are they going to provide enough energy for the citizens in the wintertime? If 90% of their grid is destroyed, the grid is going to be stressed heavily by wintertime. And it's going to be very difficult for people to survive when it gets down to, freezing temperatures over here, because it gets very cold in Ukraine during the winter. So, people are going to have to resort to probably burning firewood or whatever they need to do to survive in the meantime, since there's not going to be any heat or electricity or anything like that. So we've got a few more things to be going over here. Let's talk about these on X. So we've got two posts here. We've got one from Vladimir Zelensky and then also DTech Group. So let's see what we have here. So Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, posted here on Twitter, or X, civilian people, infrastructure, and energy facilities. This is what Russia is constantly at war with. This night, another barrage of over 50 missiles and various types of around 50 Shahed drones targeted the south, center, and west of Ukraine. I'm grateful to our warriors, for shooting down the majority of them, but there were also hits. All services are working on the ground to provide recovery and relief. Everyone affected will receive all of the necessary assistance. Russia's main goal is to normalize terror, exploit Ukraine's lack of sufficient air defense, and capitalize on Ukraine's partners' indecision. So that's a big one. That's obviously why a lot of these attacks are happening inside of Ukraine, and they've been calling for this forever, is more Patriot air defense systems. They said they need somewhere around a dozen of them to completely cover the entire eastern and southern portion of Ukraine to protect from these attacks, and they're not getting the additional Patriot systems that they need. I don't know how many they have, maybe 6 or 8 of them. I don't think they have too many, but they said they need at least a dozen of them, if not more. Russian terrorists understand only the language of force, and the only way to stop this terror and keep it from becoming the norm is to promptly make effective decisions. Full protection for the Ukrainian sky must become the norm, so that the madmen in the Kremlin understand that their terror is futile. Partners know exactly what is needed for this: additional Patriot and other modern air defense systems for Ukraine, accelerating and expanding the delivery of F-16s to Ukraine, providing our warriors with all the necessary capabilities. So that's a big one too, is these F-16s. See, if they had an actual air force, they could deploy their F-16s to the skies and start shooting down these incoming missiles and drones, but they don't even really have much of an air force right now. That's a problem for them as well. They are going to be getting a few, maybe, I don't know if it's 5 or 6 F-16s pretty soon, but nothing too crazy. And, it could be another year or several years down the road before Ukraine has a significant size air force to even protect the skies of Ukraine, considering that they also need Patriot air defense systems. So it says here, only when Putin loses the ability to target civilians and civilian infrastructure will he be forced to stop his terror. This is a test of humanity and determination for the free world. Either we pass it together or the world will suffer further destabilization and chaos. So he saved us a video here that we'll go ahead and check out. So let's go ahead and see this together. This looks like some destruction in a thermal power plant that got hit. So let's take a look. So as we can see here, major damage inside this thermal power plant. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know 100% if that's what it is that we're seeing here, but I've seen thermal power plants that look similar to this on the inside. Lots of steel beams and everything like that. And then we can see a huge hole in just a moment. There's a huge hole in the ceiling over here. Look right there. And that looks like where this missile came in. There's fire everywhere. So we've got these firefighter crews in here trying to put out the blaze. Very sad. Like I said, this has got to be hurting Ukraine big time whenever they get hit hard on these thermal power plants. And like I said, it could take them 6 months or a year or longer to, completely repair these and get them back online and operational. And imagine the money lost too, okay? It could be hundreds of millions of dollars in damage just on, one of these thermal power plants, and Ukraine doesn't have a huge economy. How are they going to repair these unless, the equipment is donated by other countries, or, it's got to be hurting them really bad. So, finally, I want to show you this here from DTech Group. This is a post from them in the last 12 hours. This morning, Russia has once again targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure. This is the 6th wave of massive missile and drone attacks Since March 2024, a number of DTEK's power plants have been hit. Security restrictions prevent us from offering further details at this time. And yeah, they got a couple of hashtags here, but it says Russia has once again targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure on June 1st. So they put out this post first, then they put out another one here after. It says updated information. 2 civilian power plants seriously damaged in latest Russian missile attack. Okay, so like I said, 2 civilian power plants again. Okay, and this happened several times. Like I said earlier, like 6 times already in the last 3 months that Ukraine has come under attack by missiles and drones, and majority of their civilian power plants are just completely destroyed. And now we've got 2 more that they're claiming here seriously damaged. So maybe we'll get more information coming out in the next couple of days, and they'll release some footage or more information to let us know exactly what happened here. But we do know that 2 power plants, civilian power plants, excuse me, are seriously damaged. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to get you this update, let you know what happened here. Once again, another massive attack from Russia. Looks like around 100 drones and missiles that were targeting Ukraine overnight last night, striking their energy grid all over the country. So very big attack here, guys. Let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update, though. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.